What it do, what it do, what it does? How y'all doing today? Today's story is going to start off talking about the king of Aram. Now this king, like every other one, was angry as all get out. But the king of Aram was angry because his sneak attacks on the Israelites kept on getting discovered. Well, he doesn't sound too sneaky. But how is this possible? Was one of the king's own people snitching? Well, someone certainly was, and as we know, snitches get kisses. Aha! One day the king found out who was telling all of his secret plans. 'Twas none other than...
the prophet of God, the snitch of the century. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Minor E himself.
Elisha! It was him. So, the king sent his army to the city of Dothan with one order. Capture Elisha and use as much duct tape as necessary. The next morning, Elisha's servant woke up and went outside to get the newspaper and to walk his poochie. When he got outside, he saw that the enemy army, with horses and chariots, had surrounded the city. Kinda like how my friends and I surround a bowl of guacamole. We're going to destroy it. And the servant was terrified. His timbers were getting shivered. So he ran back into the house and called Elisha. Master, master, what are we going to do? And Elisha answered, don't be afraid. Those who are with us are more than those who are with them. In other words, we're Marvel and they're DC. There's more of us. And then Elisha prayed. Lord, open my servant's eyes so that he can see. Give him a new prescription, cause that boy blind. Then the Lord opened the servant's eyes. With a crowbar, of course. Then the servant looked out on the hills. Oh, wow. The hills were filled with horses and chariots of fire. At that moment, the enemy came galloping toward Elisha. And Elisha prayed again. Lord, please make the enemy soldiers blind. And God answered his prayer and glued the enemy's eyes shut with Elmer's glue. Then Elijah started speaking to the blind enemy soldiers. You're in the wrong place. Follow me. I'll lead you where you need to go. And he led them right into the middle of the camp of Israel's army. They fell right into the trap. Once the soldiers were inside, the Lord opened their eyes, but only after Elijah asked. Then the soldiers realized that instead of capturing Elisha, they had been captured themselves. The king of Israel asked Elijah what he should do with all these enemy soldiers. Should we have them drink relish or tie their nose hairs together? Elijah told him, no, that's okay. You know what? Just feed them and then send them on home. And when the soldiers finished eating, they went back home. It was the best ramen noodles they ever had. And those men never attacked Israel again. Well, I hope you enjoyed the story, and I pray that you understood the message. The message being, love your enemies and pray for those who hurt you. That's Matthew 5:44. Elisha easily could have destroyed all of the soldiers that he had in his possession. After all, those soldiers were just trying to capture and kill him. But instead of doing that to them, Elisha loved them. That is called self-control. Self-control.
Self-control.
You may have people in your life that irritate you beyond belief. And they're probably not even trying to kill you. Now, how do you treat them back? Are you just as mean, as rude, and as nasty to them as they are to you? Or do you show compassion towards them and treat them with love? It's a lot easier said than done, but Jesus did the exact same thing. When Jesus was on that cross, paying the price for our sins, he was being beaten and spit on. People were cursing at him, and he was dying for their sins. He was sacrificing himself for them because he loved them. Love is a choice. You can choose to love people even when they hurt you. Doesn't mean you have to be best friends with them. Doesn't mean y'all gotta have sleepovers every weekend. But you can still love them, not talk bad about them behind their back, not be rude to them to their face, and maybe even tell them that you forgive them for how they treated you. And the great part is we can trust that God will give us the strength to love our enemies, just like he gave the strength to Elisha. But we must focus on God, because without him, our natural emotions will go crazy. But when we focus on him and remember his love for us, us, we're reminded about how we should be loving others.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this story today. I'll see you next week. I love you guys.